Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Miss Aurellia Putri from English Literature B and UNES. I'm dedicated to be here to tell you about how technology affects people relationships. This presentation consists of three sections. First, I start by introduce for the main course, then focus on the communication of technology and with the conclusion from the technology. This presentation will be take about 10 minutes. First, I start by introduction the main course. Lately, we have realized how technology has taken over the power in society and has been able to change people's lifestyle, such as the development of technology at this time with the internet and its device. The creation of new electronic devices in recent decades makes our life in some form to work around it because every time your function develops and successfully helps us in our daily tasks. The information age has rapidly changed how we conduct ourselves in business, education, and in general human interaction. Advances as email, SMS messaging, and social media, we are created to make communication easier and more convenient. Families and friends across great distance can now more easily communicate face to face anytime they want. Dating sites successfully match thousands of Zoom to be exposed each year, and parents can more easily keep in touch with their children throughout the day. However, as society adapts to this fresh avenue of context, there are also ways new technology threatens to strip away important aspects of how people relate and connect on a personal level. This can be especially true in our most intimate relationships. Here are three areas in which technology may negatively impact relationships. First is intimacy. Intimate relationships often have their own challenge, and changing technologies can contribute even more to the stress of modern relationships. Sometimes, the ways people use technology can create problems between romantic partners, fostering conflict and dissatisfaction in the relationships. At the 2014 Pew Research Center poll indicates that in war for cell phone owners in relationships or marriage want their partner to distract by their cell phones. Nearly 1 in 10 had argued with a partner about excessive time spent on the device. The poll notes that many arguments between couples may have something to do with text use, such as deciding when to use device and when to abstain. They also found that younger users were more likely to report but interestation and exchange closeness in their relationships as a result of technology. The two is distraction. Technology can be an effective distraction in the current moment over a long period of time and even in its absence, according to a 2015 poll of 453 adults across the United States. Nearly half of all responses reported being distracted by their phones in the presence of romantic partner. Those moments spent focused on technology can quickly add up to sizable proportion of person working hard the same allotment of time they just a few years ago might have been considered. And online addiction is now commonplace in smartphone use, especially among younger youth. is present a shift in how people spend their time and where they focus their energy. Technology can also be a distraction when it is not in use. When briefly disconnected from their smartphone in a 2014 study, self-described heavy users indicate having higher anxiety level than moderated use after just 10 minutes. And the last is depression. Heavy use of social media has also been shown to negatively affect mental health. A recent study from the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine examined depression rate in younger adults, finding significantly increased odds of depression among those spending the most time engaged in social media. Looking especially at only person social media activity, they conclude that heavy use was significantly associated increased depression and highly the importance of identifying intervention for heavy social media users before they experience any mental health issue. The report also notes that multiple studies have linked social media use with declines in mood, sense of well-being, and life satisfaction. These declines could be related to FOMO or the fears of missing out, which study has shown in often exacerbated by social media use. Communication over long distance in the past. Communication over long distance in the past has been a challenge throughout history. Man has been seeking different ways of doing this since the beginning of time. The transmissions of signals over a distance for the purpose of communication began thousands of years ago. Early methods of long distance communications include learners to carry important messages, smoke signals, sounds of searchlights, drums, carrier pigeons, the Pony Express, and telegraph. Long distance communication has many means of communication: telephone and telegraph service, over wire and radio system between correspondents located at grid, virtual unlimited distance from each other. The term long distance communication arose in the technology of transmission of electrical signals over wire communication lines. A synonym is intercity communication, and the antonym is local communication within a city or region. Telephone, telegraph, and phototelegraph and television signals are transmitted simultaneously over long distance over air cable and radio communication lines in which hundreds or thousands of independent communication channels are formed by multiplexing communication lines. The use of artificial earth satellites for long distance communication is promising to compensate for signal attenuations, attended and unattended remote controlled repeater stations or relay stations with amplifiers for the transmitted signals are installed or some sections of long distance ground lines. For deep sea, cable, long distance communication, unattended repeaters with long surface life are installed at certain intervals along the legs of the cable. Reliable, continuous communication are ensured by the use of standby equipment and automated long-distance communication lines. What do we mean by personal relationships? The concepts of relationships and family is broad and varies from person to person. What you mean by relationships is unique to you, but most people do think of a state of connectedness, especially an emotional connection. In our models, personal relationships refer to close connections be- between people formed by emotional bonds and interactions. These bonds often grow from and are strengthened by mutual experience. Relationships are not static, they are continually evolving, and to fully enjoy and benefit from them we need skills, information, inspirations, practice, and social supports. In our model, there are three kinds of personal relationships. The first is family. The concept of family is an essential component in any discussion of relationships, but this varies greatly from person to person. The Bureau of the Census define family as two or more persons who are related by birth, marriage, or adoptions, and who live together as one household. But many people have family they don't live with or to whom they are not bonded by love, and the roles of family vary across cultures as well as throughout your family lifetimes. Some typical characteristics of a family are supports, mutual trust, regular interactions, self-belief and values, security, and a sense of community. Also, the concept of the family is the one of oldest in human nature. Its divisions has evolved considerably in the past 3 decades. Non-traditionally, family structures and roles can provide as much comfort and support are traditionally from. The next is friends. Friendships can be thought of a close tie between two people that is often built upon mutual experience, shared interests, proximity, and emotional bonding. Friends are able to turn to each other in times of need. Nicholas Curtis and James Faber, social network researcher and author of the book Connected, find that the average person has about 6 close ties, though some have more and many have only one or none. Note that only friends don't count towards close ties, which indicates that a large online network isn't nearly as powerful as having a few close real life of friends. And last is partnerships. Romantic partnerships, including marriage, are close relationships formed between two peoples that are built upon affections, trust, intimacy, and romantic love. We usually experience this kind of relationship with only one person at a time. The conclusion for the presentations is we have to take care of relationships. The world is allowing that technology take control of us. Even when it's just part of evolutions, we don't have to forget what are the things that really matter. That's all my presentation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.